this first line of the St. Paul to the Corinthians, touching on St. Lawrence. The more you sow, the more you reap. And it's talking about giving, alms giving. And it's something for us to reflect, especially Lawrence challenges us on alms giving. The more you sow, the more you reap. How generous are we with what we have? Not to give grudgingly because we're made to, for God loves a cheerful giver. And in the gospel here, unless a grain of wheat falls on the ground and dies, it remains only a single grain. But if it dies, it yields a rich harvest. And as we heard, as I mentioned earlier on, St. Lawrence, his job, as with the deacons in the early church, their job was to give what people had given them to the poor, to be generous in giving. He'd already given himself over to the Lord as a deacon, to serve as a deacon, and had been in charge of distributing the church's treasures to the poor. It said that, so that there's that, his affinity with the poor, affinity with those in need, and his desire to serve them. There's also, in the text, it speaks about his humility and courage, I guess, because when Pope Sixtus II, Saint Sixtus II, was captured in the catacombs with 4 other deacons, Pope Lawrence was supposed to have met him as Sixtus and the other deacons were being taken to execution. And he was supposed to have said to the Pope, "Father, are you leaving without me?" And Sixtus said, "No, you'll be joining me in 3 days' time." And after that was when the incident happened with the poor and the treasure of the church. St. Lawrence was generous in his giving. He was generous in giving not only the treasures that were passed on to him, but also giving himself. And so he did not fear giving himself completely. He knew that he would be executed for what he did, and he still went ahead and did it. He did not try to flee. He wanted to give himself to go completely to the Lord. And so thin sowing, the more you sow, the more you reap. How much did he sow? He sowed everything he had. He gave it all. So the more he gave, and he gave everything, the more he reaped. Unless a wheat grain falls on the ground and dies, it remains only a single grain. Why am I going on about this? It's said that as he was being executed, and as he spoke it during his execution, 4 of the leaders of Rome who were there witnessing it converted to the Catholic faith after witnessing his death. And he became the most famous martyr of the time. And more conversions happened because of him, because of his witness, because of his testimony. And so in a very real way, his sowing reaped a great harvest. The sowing of his own life reaped a great harvest in the conversions and the lives of others. And so we are encouraged not to be afraid of giving ourselves, so not to be afraid of the persecution, whether it's the comments that other people make, or the way people may treat us or mistreat us. Not to be afraid of that, if we can accept that as our gift, and take it as our gift to the Lord, whatever the persecution we receive, then God can use that for the good of others, for the conversion of others. And the results are not temporary, but eternal for ourselves and for other people.